Day 1. In Chapter 1, Nona lives with Camilla, Palamedes, and Pyrrha in a precarious, war-torn environment. Nona recounts cryptic dreams during a session with Camilla, while Pyrrha and Palamedes discuss survival plans involving Blood of Eden, a rebel group. They debate saving civilians versus their own escape, hinting at past losses and an uncertain future. Nona overhears their conversation, but is ushered to her routine. The group prepares to face another tense day, with rules for emergency drills and strategies for evasion. Pyrrha emphasizes caution, revealing deep distrust of their surroundings and looming threats, while Nona's innocence contrasts their grim reality. In Chapter 2, Nona reflects on her unusual identity, likely tied to one of two people and her physical appearance, which she finds beautiful. Living with Camilla, Palamedes, and Pyrrha, she struggles with her limited abilities compared to their exceptional skills. Despite this, she has developed basic life skills and finds joy in small accomplishments. Nona's ability to understand and speak any language fascinates Palamedes and proves useful in the refugee-filled city. The group lives under strict rules, avoiding taboo words like zombies and necromancers. Nona treasures her 6 months with them, knowing their precarious existence may not last. In Chapter 3, Nona, perceived as simple and kind, strives to find purpose in her life. After convincing her guardians, she begins working as a teacher's aide at a local school, enjoying tasks like supervising games, cleaning whiteboards, and caring for Noodle, the science teacher's 6-legged dog. She becomes part of a group of children led by the enigmatic Hot Sauce, who idolizes the science teacher and harbors deep suspicions about Necromancer's return. Nona finds a sense of belonging with this group while still feeling immense gratitude for her guardians, Camilla, Pyrrha, and Palamedes, and her unique life in their care. In Chapter 4, Nona starts her day with Pyrrha and Camilla walking through the smoky, tense streets to school. Pyrrha splits off, leaving Nona and Camilla to navigate the morning routine. At school, Nona discovers Hot Sauce arrived early and is unusually vigilant about someone allegedly watching from a nearby building. Nona observes the science teacher, the Angel, who appears fatigued and worried, sparking concern from Hot Sauce. Following advice to stay cautious, Nona takes Noodle out but notices nothing out of the ordinary. Hot Sauce praises Nona's observations, reinforcing their bond as the group returns to their routines. In Chapter 5, Nona returns from school with Camilla, who remains quiet but supportive. Back at home, Palamedes guides Nona through an exercise with bones, probing her emotions and memories while emphasizing the tension of their situation. Nona expresses love for Crown, questions her identity, and discusses her immunity to the mysterious blue light, a recurring concern. Palamedes reassures her about their plans and potential allies, while reflecting on Blood of Eden's interest in her. The chapter highlights Nona's conflicted feelings about necromancy and her deep bonds with her guardians, as the group's limited time and uncertain future loom overhead. In Chapter 6, Pyrrha works late on a dangerous demolition project while Nona enjoys her evening routine with Camilla. During their time together, Camilla surprises Nona by asking if she would consider leaving the city, revealing deeper concerns about their safety. Nona feels unsettled, but reassures Camilla of her loyalty. They discuss their shared history, including how Camilla and Palamedes rescued Nona from a dire situation, with Camilla narrating the story in a simplified way. That night, Nona falls asleep feeling happy, but wakes in a cryptic dream, witnessing a man recalling a failed project and the unexpected resilience of loved ones he had worked to save. Day 2. In Chapter 7, Nona awakens from a cryptic dream and describes fragments of her experience to Camilla, who records her account while probing for clues about Nona's identity. Later, Pyrrha discusses growing tensions in the city, revealing societal instability and increasing violence. At school, Nona learns that her friend Honesty was injured while working a dangerous job. He recounts a harrowing encounter with a convoy carrying people with unsettling white eyes, which left him traumatized and on the run. The chapter concludes with Honesty warning Hot Sauce and the others about the dangers of the mysterious convoy, intensifying the tension. In Chapter 8, Hot Sauce reminds Nona to stay on lookout during the hour of science, hinting at someone watching the school. Hot Sauce instructs Nona to pretend to use a radio outside, possibly to confuse or observe the watcher. Meanwhile, Nona struggles to put protective shoes on Noodle, the Angel's dog, and reflects on the Angel's apparent exhaustion. During her task, Nona observes her surroundings but notices nothing unusual. In a dream sequence, John recalls experiments on corpses that defied decay, revealing his growing connection to the bodies and his unsettling ability to manipulate them remotely. The chapter blends Nona's daily life with haunting elements of John's mysterious past. In Chapter 9, Nona wakes up after briefly dozing during her lookout and learns her fake radio transmission caused the Watcher to leave. Gunfire outside prompts a lockdown at school, unsettling Nona and her classmates. After school, Camilla takes Nona home via a circuitous route, selling Pyrrha's cigarettes to buy food. That evening, during a reflection on a past incident, Nona recalls being shot at the beach while warning Camilla of danger. Camilla, severely wounded and experiencing blood sweating from a dangerous soul synthesis with Palamedes, is barely helped back home by Nona. Pyrrha attends to Camilla, warning of the life-threatening toll of their bond. In Chapter 10, Nona tries to return to school to help her friends, but is stopped by Camilla due to safety concerns amid escalating violence in the city. They fetch dinner, overhearing news of riots and public chaos, including executions and arrests. Pyrrha returns from a dangerous mission, bloodied but alive, and warns Palamedes against risking themselves in the worsening situation. Nona reflects on her longing for freedom and her love for the mysterious blue sphere, which she secretly believes sings to her. That night, Camilla and Nona share a quiet moment of connection, while Pyrrha reveals the city's dire state. Day 3. In Chapter 11, Nona shares another vivid dream during a session with Camilla, describing holding the girl with the painted face underwater, a dream she struggles to interpret. Their conversation shifts to personal topics, showcasing Nona's attachment to Camilla and her developing sense of identity. At breakfast, Pyrrha reveals she went to the burn cages and saw hot sauce there with dangerous company, urging Nona to be cautious with her friends. The morning's tension culminates as armed strangers burst into the apartment, threatening the group, marking an immediate escalation of danger. In Chapter 12, Blood of Eden storms Nona, Camilla, and Pyrrha's home, detaining and separating them. Nona and Camilla are taken to a clandestine meeting led by We Suffer, a Blood of Eden commander. During tense discussions, they reveal that a mysterious shuttle with necromantic symbols is orbiting the planet, sparking debate among factions about whether to negotiate with the Empire or escalate violence. Camilla demands proof of life for the captive Sixth House scholars, which is provided through a recorded message. We Suffer seeks their cooperation, while tensions rise over Blood of Eden's fractured leadership and uncertain strategies. In Chapter 13, Nona, Camilla, and Crown visit Captain Judith Deuteros, who is critically ill and ranting incoherently about past trauma and mysterious entities. Camilla and Palamedes provide medical aid, revealing that Judith's condition is linked to her connection with necromantic forces. Crown hints she knows about Camilla and Palamedes' unique bond, but vows to keep their secret. Camilla unsuccessfully tries to convince Crown to leave Blood of Eden, underscoring their tense and complicated history. Judith's cryptic statements about water, hunger, and a green entity unsettle Nona, but Camilla and Crown deny hearing them, leaving Nona increasingly confused and disturbed. In Chapter 14, Nona is driven back to her school by Crown, who insists on escorting her despite Camilla's reservations. Crown's charm and playful banter distract Nona, but their interactions reveal a deeper tension beneath Crown's facade. At the school, Crown and Nona meet the angel, who is startled by Crown's striking presence and disallows her from entering the classroom, citing distraction. Crown claims to be Camilla's partner to justify her presence, raising eyebrows. Before leaving, Crown affectionately reassures Nona, hinting at a deeper understanding of her identity. The chapter reinforces Crown's enigmatic role and Nona's growing importance. In Chapter 15, Nona reconnects with her school friends and notices signs of tension, particularly with Hot Sauce. Hot Sauce reveals cryptic information about the angel being protected and hints at Blood of Eden activities, including a suspicious broadcast. Nona and Hot Sauce bond deeply, sharing secrets, including Nona's own troubling secret and Hot Sauce's past experiences with violence and survival. Their connection solidifies as Hot Sauce promises to protect Nona and keep her confidences. The chapter delves into themes of trust, identity, and loyalty, while hinting at larger conflicts involving necromancers and political strife. In Chapter 16, Nona awakens to chaos as rumors spread about a broadcast featuring necromancers. The Angel tries to keep the children safe, but Nona and Hot Sauce sneak out to witness the broadcast despite warnings. They join a tense crowd, seeing a screen reveal Prince Ianthe Nibarius and Crown Prince Kiriona Gaia delivering ultimatums from the Emperor. The crowd's fear escalates into chaos. After narrowly escaping, Nona and Hot Sauce are rescued by the Angel. Back home, Nona reunites with Camilla only to learn Pyrrha never returned after leaving to pick her up earlier. This deepens the mystery surrounding recent events. Day 4. In Chapter 17, Nona wakes up disoriented and alone, only to realize that Pyrrha hasn't returned. Camilla quickly decides to search for her at the spaceport, allowing a brief detour to Nona's school. The group of friends, including Honesty, Beautiful Ruby, Kevin, and Hot Sauce, reunite and pledge loyalty to one another despite the city's growing tension. They work together to plan safe gathering points and prepare for possible dangers, all under the looming threat of unrest and necromancers. Though they part ways uncertainly, their bond is strengthened, and Nona remains determined to find Pyrrha. In Chapter 18, tensions escalate when the Angel questions Nona about her drawing, revealing that it depicts a cradle creature, a species she recognizes from her past work. Camilla and the Angel's strained conversation leads to the revelation that Palamedes might be a lictor. The situation intensifies as Posh arrives, making the Angel nervous, and there are more confrontations involving guns, betrayal, and confusion. Meanwhile, Nona struggles with the reality of being alive after an apparent near-death experience. As the group prepares to leave the building under fire, Camilla's calm demeanor contrasts with the chaos, and Nona's relationship with Hot Sauce is further tested. In Chapter 19, Nona wakes up bound in an unfamiliar room. Overcome with anger, she breaks free, destroying the furniture used to restrain her. As she escapes, a group of armed soldiers attempts to subdue her, but she refuses to back down, fighting against them despite her injuries. Eventually, they manage to hood her and pin her arms, calming her temporarily. The chapter ends with her captured and trembling, her emotions and physical strain leaving her on the verge of collapse. Day 5. In Chapter 20, Nona wakes up in a strange room realizing she's been taken to Blood of Eden's facility. Palamedes explains her bullet wound was removed, but she's been dying for months due to her soul's struggle. Nona learns she may not be the only person inhabiting her body. As tensions rise, We Suffer arrives and shares cryptic information about a mission involving Crown, who's in danger. Nona becomes increasingly uneasy as We Suffer reveals plans to put someone in a dangerous situation, but Crown's voice on the audio suddenly changes, leading to the realization that Pyrrha may be alive. In Chapter 21, We Suffer reacts to Crown's betrayal with frustration, while Camilla and Nona prepare for a mission. Nona shares her concern about Pyrrha, whom they believe is the key to accessing Gideon Nav's body. We Suffer agrees to assist, and Palamedes reveals a plan to retrieve the body while saving Nona. They discuss strategies and the need for caution as Ianthe's plans unfold. Camilla prepares for the mission by requesting supplies, and Pyrrha's voice confirms her survival. Tensions rise, and the group resolves to proceed with their mission, knowing the stakes are high. In Chapter 22, Nona, disguised as Harrowhark Nonagesimus, prepares for a mission. Camilla instructs her to maintain a cold, controlled demeanor, and Nona adopts the role despite discomfort. They travel to the barracks, where the team is tasked with retrieving a key item. Posh drives them to the location, and they enter the building, where Nona is struck by the eerie atmosphere. Inside, they find the prince from the broadcast, along with Crown and Pyrrha, surrounded by lifeless soldiers. Nona, still in character, is confronted by the prince, who comments on her tardiness. The mission begins. In Chapter 23, Nona, disguised as Harrowhark, confronts Prince Ianthe. Despite Ianthe's taunts and the overwhelming presence of dead soldiers, Nona remains quiet and follows Camilla's guidance. Ianthe declares she will deliver Nona to the Emperor and shifts focus to Camilla. Ianthe's disdain for the Sixth House and her plans for total control set the stage for a duel between her and Camilla. Though Camilla fights valiantly, the prince's superior skill leaves Camilla gravely wounded. Ultimately, Ianthe gains the upper hand, seemingly sealing Camilla's fate as the chapter ends on a suspenseful note. In Chapter 24, the defeated zombie soldiers collapse, leaving Nona trapped beneath two bodies. She watches as Camilla kneels, impaled by the sword, supported by Crown and others trying to stabilize her. Meanwhile, Ianthe's body moves independently, revealing Palamedes is now in control. Pyrrha and Nona descend into the barracks' maze-like interior to retrieve a corpse. They break through wards that dissolve Nona's hand, though she regenerates quickly. Finally, they locate Gideon's corpse and return it to Camilla and Palamedes, who prepare to secure the body and regroup. However, just as Palamedes attempts a blood test, the corpse reanimates and speaks. In Chapter 25, the reanimated corpse of Gideon Nav, now identifying as Prince Kirionagaya I, confronts the group. She reveals that she has been awake all along, playing possum to avoid interference. Palamedes struggles to understand how she exists as a revenant and questions her motives. Kiriona claims she wants to return to the Ninth House for personal reasons, though her true intentions remain unclear. After a tense exchange, Camilla attempts to extract a blood sample, but Kiriona's body resists, revealing her enhanced physical capabilities. Despite her strength, she hints at an uncertain future, stating that she won't be imprisoned. In Chapter 26, the group prepares to move the necromancers out of the city. We suffer coordinates the plan while Pyrrha shoulders the apparently lifeless Kiriona. Camilla, heavily drugged, opts to ride with the corpse prince, separating herself from Palamedes. In transit, Palamedes and Crown focus on stabilizing Judith's condition. Meanwhile, Nona recalls a crucial detail about the convoy's location and offers to track down her friend Honesty. Once there, Nona persuades Honesty and Hot Sauce to help. Hot Sauce forgives Nona, and she rejoins the gang, albeit on cleaning duty for her zombie status. In Chapter 27, the convoy faces escalating threats as thunder and atmospheric activity intensify. Commander, we suffer orders. Operation Lock and Key to resume, deploying Blood of Eden forces. Pyrrha's revelation about Wake's relationship to Posh deepens tensions within the group. As the convoy progresses, Nona and Pyrrha confront worsening conditions, while the emergence of alien pods in the environment adds to the chaos. Nona demonstrates unexpected resolve by leaping onto another truck and wielding a sword, determined to protect her companions. The chapter concludes with rising danger and a desperate determination to survive. In Chapter 28, Nona awakens in a tunnel surrounded by dim light and distant gunfire. After some tense interactions with the group, she learns that they are pinned down by heralds and running out of options. Pyrrha and others work to stabilize the situation while grappling with despair and fraying relationships. The Sixth House survivors are gathered, and Palamedes reveals his plan to navigate the river, despite the danger and near-certain failure. In a pivotal moment, Camilla and Palamedes unite their souls, undergoing a transformation that leaves them as a new, singular being, while Ianthe's fate remains uncertain. In Chapter 29, the group prepares to leave the truck and head toward their next destination. Nona, still struggling physically, is comforted by Pyrrha as they board a massive megatruck. They are joined by the Angel and Posh, who reluctantly agree to accompany them to the Nine Houses. As they drive into the darkness, Palamedes, now embodying Camilla's essence, takes control of the truck, while the commander shares her final words. Meanwhile, Nona grapples with her purpose and identity, asking herself profound questions about life, death, and her connection to God, contemplating her own journey toward understanding. In Chapter 30, the megatruck departs the tunnel, traveling through the river. The truck navigates over water and faces surreal challenges, including a foreboding tower that unnerves Nona. Amid technical difficulties and crew tension, Nona wrestles with despair but finds renewed determination after being reminded of Noodle's presence. Despite the mounting pressure, she pushes through and continues steering the megatruck toward their destination. In Chapter 31, the group arrives at a strange, eerie place where they encounter an ancient man who reveals disturbing truths about the situation on Antioch. Nona is unsettled by the discovery of dead and possessed bodies, and Paul and Pyrrha help care for the wounded, including a mysterious, dying old man. As the group prepares to move deeper into the complex, Nona struggles with her identity and the possibility of losing herself. Despite the tension, Pyrrha and Paul offer Nona comfort, reminding her of their bond. Nona resolves to face the challenges ahead, determined to hold on to who she is. In Chapter 32, the group, led by Aglamini, descends through a winding, lightless passage to a vast chamber holding a massive stone blocking a tunnel's entrance. They find Ianthe, who immobilizes everyone except Nona in a field of adhesive yellow muck. A confrontation follows between Ianthe and Kiriona, revealing conflicting motives regarding the tomb and its inhabitant. Nona's body begins to fail as the tensions escalate. A sudden decision to proceed into the tomb is made, and as the massive stone is rolled aside, Nona's consciousness slips away. The chapter ends with Nona collapsing onto the body, marking a turning point. Epilogue. A powerful, broken body awakens, breaking its chains and crying out. The body, revealed to be Alecto, confronts a child who threatens her but is stopped by the black-eyed infant. Alecto recalls her vow and faces a child who accepts her fate, offering blood as an offering to the tomb. Alecto, now understanding love through the child's sacrifice, pledges her service to the child. However, she later confronts John, finding him dead to the world, and pierces his chest with a sword. John awakens, greeting her as Annabelle setting the stage for chaos.